The US Grand Prix has reignited the debate about the sport's rules and the art of hard racing. At the heart of the storm lies the 5-second penalty handed to Lando Norris for overtaking Max Verstappen off-track, a decision that has polarized opinions, sparked accusations of inconsistency and favoritism, and even raised questions about the very nature of competition in Formula One. While some, including Verstappen and Red Bull team principal Christian Horner, argued that the penalty was a clear-cut application of the rules, others, like Norris himself and McLaren team principal Andrea Stella, saw it as a momentum killer and an unjust punishment stemming from Verstappen's aggressive driving tactics. The incident, a thrilling battle for third place that culminated in both cars exceeding track limits, has become a focal point for discussions about the balance between regulating racing for fairness and preserving the raw. This controversy has raised fundamental questions. Is Formula One over-regulated? Are the stewards applying the rules consistently? And is the championship truly being decided on merit, or ambiguous regulations and contentious interpretations playing a decisive role? All these will be dissected in today's edition of Front Lockout. Stay tuned. Lando Norris received a 5-second time penalty at the US Grand Prix for overtaking Max Verstappen off the track and gaining a lasting advantage, causing him to drop from 3rd to 4th place. While both drivers went off the track during the overtake, the stewards determined that Norris was not alongside Verstappen enough at the apex of the corner to be entitled to the space. The stewards' report stated that because Norris was not level with Verstappen at the apex, he lost the right to the corner, and since he returned to the track in front of Verstappen after leaving the track, he gained a lasting advantage. The stewards acknowledged that Norris had little alternative but to go off track due to Verstappen's positioning, and this was considered a mitigating factor in deciding the penalty. This decision was ferociously objected to by the folks at McLaren, citing 4 pain points. Firstly, Norris and the McLaren team disagreed with the stewards' decision, arguing that Verstappen also went off track during the move. Secondly, Norris felt Verstappen had over-defended and made a mistake, forcing him off the track. Thirdly, he also questioned the consistency of the stewarding, referencing a previous incident in Austria where Verstappen went off track without receiving a penalty. Lastly, McLaren team principal Andrea Stella called the stewarding inappropriate, feeling they had interfered with a beautiful piece of motorsport. He said both cars had gained an advantage. In their counterattack, Red Bull felt the penalty was justified, asserting that it was clear Norris had overtaken off track. They hinged their argument on 3 points. Firstly, Red Bull team principal Christian Horner stated that the rules about overtaking off-track are very, very clear. Secondly, he also believed McLaren should have instructed Norris to give the position back to avoid a penalty. Thirdly, Verstappen argued, "It's very clear in the rules. Outside of the white line, you cannot pass. I've been done for it in the past." Verstappen's defense centers on the concept of consistency and precedent in stewarding decisions. He believed that the penalty given to Norris was in line with past rulings and that both drivers were aware of the regulations governing overtaking. He specifically referenced a previous incident where he lost a podium finish in 2017 for overtaking Kimi, the Iceman, off track at the same circuit. This suggests Verstappen believes the rules are clear and that Norris should have known better. Commentators and analysts also weighed in on the incident, with some agreeing with the penalty and others finding the rules ambiguous and difficult to apply consistently. Damon Hill tweeted his concerns about the consistency of the rules, to which Zach Brown responded the rules were inconsistent. Those who supported the penalty, primarily Verstappen, Red Bull team principal Christian Horner, and Sky Sports commentators Martin Brundle and Anthony Davidson, emphasized the clarity of the regulations prohibiting passing beyond track limits. They argued that the rules were unambiguous and that Norris's maneuver clearly violated them. Conversely, those who objected to the penalty, including Norris, McLaren team principal Andrea Stella, and Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff, highlighted the complexities and inconsistencies in applying the rules in practice. They argued that Verstappen's aggressive defending, which also involved exceeding track limits, forced Norris off the track and contributed to the incident. Norris and Wolff questioned the consistency of the stewarding, pointing to similar incidents that went unpunished earlier in the race. Wolff was angered by the fact that Russell was punished for a less severe incident, while Verstappen was completely left off the hook. Stella, meanwhile, argued that the steward's decision unfairly penalised Norris while ignoring Verstappen's role in the incident, emphasising that both drivers benefited from leaving the track. On our part, we believe the rules were ambiguous and inconsistent and Norris was on the wrong side of it. However, since Norris was on tyres that were 6 laps fresher, he should have erred on the side of caution and given the position back with 4 laps to go. As a suggestion, we believe an in-race appeal process should be introduced. This is even more important in a championship battle, especially since the steward's decisions are final and unquestionable, even if they are based on incomplete or inaccurate information. But we would like to hear your thoughts. This is Front Lockout, signing off.